The Maya are an indigenous people of Mexico and Central America who have continuously inhabited the lands comprising modern-day Yucatan, Quintana Roo, Campeche, Tabasco, and Chiapas in Mexico and southward through Guatemala, Belize, El Salvador, and Honduras. The designation Maya comes from the ancient Yucatan city of Mayapan, the last capital of a Maya kingdom in the post-classic period. The Maya people refer to themselves by ethnicity and language bonds, such as Quiche in the south or Yucatec in the north, though there are many others. The term Mayan refers to the language, while Maya references the people and their culture. The mysterious Maya have intrigued the world since their discovery in the 1840s by John Lloyd Stevens and Frederick Catherwood, but in reality, much of the culture is not that mysterious when understood. Contrary to popular imagination, the Maya did not vanish, and the descendants of the people who built the great cities of Chichen Itza, Bonampak, Uxmal, and Altan Ha still exist on the same lands their ancestors did and continue to practice, sometimes in a modified form, the same rituals which would be recognized by a native of the land 1,000 years ago. Maya origins. The history of Mesoamerica is usually divided into specific periods which, taken together, reveal the development of culture in the region, and, for the purposes of this definition, the emergence and cultivation of the Maya civilization. The Archaic period, 7,200 BCE. During this time, a hunter-gatherer culture began to cultivate crops such as maize, beans, and other vegetables, and the domestication of animals, most notably dogs and turkeys, and plants became widely practiced. The first villages of the region were established during this period, which included sacred spots and temples dedicated to various gods. The villages excavated thus far are dated from 2150 BCE. The Olmec period, 1500–200 BCE. This era is also known as the pre-classic or formative period when the Olmecs, the oldest culture in Mesoamerica, thrived. The Olmecs settled along the Gulf of Mexico and began building great cities of stone and brick. The famous Olmec heads strongly suggest highly sophisticated skill in sculpture, and the first indications of shamanic religious practices date from this period. The enormous size and scope of Olmec ruins gave birth to the idea that the land was once populated by giants. Though no one knows where the Olmecs came from, nor what happened to them, they lay the foundation for all the future civilizations in Mesoamerica. The Zapotec period, 600 BCE, 800 CE. In the region surrounding modern-day Oaxaca, the cultural center now known as Monte Alban was founded, which became the capital of the Zapotec kingdom. The Zapotecs were clearly influenced by, or perhaps related to the Olmecs, and through them, some of the most important cultural elements of the region were disseminated, such as writing, mathematics, astronomy, and the development of the calendar, all of which the Maya would refine. The Teotihuacan period, 200–900. During this era, the great city of Teotihuacan grew from a small village to a metropolis of enormous size and influence. Early on, Teotihuacan was a rival of another city called Cuicuilco, but when that community was destroyed by a volcano C-100, Teotihuacan became dominant in the region. Archaeological evidence suggests that Teotihuacan was an important religious center, which was devoted to the worship of a great mother goddess and her consort, the plumed serpent. The plumed serpent god Cuculcan, also known as Gucumatz, was the most popular deity among the Maya. Like many of the cities which now lie in ruin throughout the southern Americas, Teotihuacan was abandoned sometime around 900. The El Tajan period, 250–900. This period is also known as the Classic period in Mesoamerican and Maya history. The name, El Tajan, refers to the great city complex on the Gulf of Mexico, which has been recognized as one of the most important sites in Mesoamerica. During this time, the great urban centers rose across the land, and the Maya numbered in the millions. The very important ball game which came to be known as Pacatac was developed, and more ball courts have been found in and around the city of El Tajan than anywhere else in the region. Who, precisely, the people were who inhabited El Tajan remains unknown, as there were over 50 different ethnic groups represented in the city, and dominance has been ascribed to both the Maya and the Totonac. The classic Maya period, 259–50. This is the era which saw the consolidation of power in the great cities of the Yucatec, Maya, such as Chichen Itza and Uxmal. Direct cultural influences may be seen, in some sites, from the Olmecs and the Zapotecs and the cultural values of Teotihuacan and El Tajan. But, in others, a wholly new culture seems to have emerged, such as at Chichen Itza, where, though there is ample evidence of cultural borrowing, there is a significantly different style to the art and architecture. This period was the height of the Maya civilization, in which they perfected mathematics, astronomy, architecture, and the visual arts, and also refined and perfected the calendar. The oldest date recorded in this era is on stele 29 in the city of Tikal, 292 CE, and the latest is from an inscription on the stele at the site of Tanana, 909 CE. The city-states of the Mayan Civilization stretched from Piste in the north, all the way down to modern-day Honduras. The post-classic period, 951–524, at this time the great cities of the Maya were abandoned. Thus far, no explanation for the mass exodus from the cities to outlying rural areas has been determined, but climate change and overpopulation have been strongly suggested among other possibilities. The Toltecs, a new tribe in the region, took over the vacant urban centers and repopulated them. At this time, Tula and Chichen Itza became dominant cities in the region. The widely popular conception that the Maya were driven from their cities by the Spanish conquest is erroneous, as the cities were already vacant by the time of the Spanish invasion. In fact, the Spanish conquerors had no idea the natives they found in the region were responsible for the enormous complexes of the cities. The Quiche Maya were defeated at the Battle of Yucatan in 1524, and this date traditionally marks the end of the Maya civilization. Maya culture. The height of the Maya civilization in the classic period produced the incredible cultural advances for which they are well known. The Maya believed deeply in the cyclical nature of life. Nothing was ever born, and nothing ever died. And this belief inspired their view of the gods and the cosmos. Their cosmological views, in turn, encouraged their imaginative efforts in architecture, mathematics, and astronomy. The Great Pyramids, which characterize so many Maya sites, are replicas of the great mountain of the gods known as the Huitzab. The cyclical nature of human existence is mirrored in the famous Maya calendar. The depictions of the many gods and goddesses all go toward their function in helping one through the cycles of life or hindering. The great religious book of the Quiche Maya, the Popalva, tells precisely this story of the cyclical nature of life through the tale of the hero twins Hunapu and Exbalank, and their victory over the forces of chaos and darkness, symbolized by the Lords of Xibalba. The game the twins are famous for playing, Pakatok, serves the same purpose. Pakatok was the most popular game among the Maya and was far more than just a game, as it symbolized the human struggle and reflected the way the Maya viewed existence. Two opposing teams of 7 men each would face each other on a ball court and try to score a small rubber ball through a vertical hoop affixed to a wall, sometimes as high as 20 feet in the air, sometimes higher, while defending their own goal. What makes the game even more impressive is that a player could not use the hands or the feet, only the hips, shoulders, head, and knees. The Spanish bishop Diego de Landa wrote that watching the Maya play Pakatok was like watching lightning strikes. They moved so quickly. It has long been believed that the losing team, or the captain of the losing team, would be killed at the end of the match, but recent advances in deciphering the Maya glyphs, together with archaeological evidence, suggests it may have been the winning team or the winning captain who was given the honor of a quick death and instant passage to paradise. The game is thought to have been symbolic, not only of the victory of the hero twins over darkness, but of the cyclical nature of life. Scholars Scheel and Matthews write, Maya calendar. There are 2 calendars at work simultaneously in the Maya system. The Hab, or civil calendar of 365 days in an 18-month period of 20 days each, and the Tzolk'in, or sacred calendar, of 260 days divided into 3 groups of months of 20 days. The Hab and the Tzolk'in work together, like gears interlocking in a machine, to create what is known as the calendar round, but cannot account for dates farther in the future than 52 days. For longer calculations, The Maya devised what is known as the long count calendar, and is this which has attracted so much international attention in recent years regarding the end of the world on 21 December 2012. As the long count calendar begins 11 August 114 BCE, it goes into its next cycle, known as a backdun, on 21 December 2012. There is nothing in the extant writings of the Maya to suggest any kind of cataclysm accompanies this transition. On 10 May 2012, it was reported that Boston University archaeologist William Saturno and Boston University student Maxwell Chamberlain, excavating at the Maya site of Zoltan in Guatemala, discovered a 6x6-foot room dating to 800, which seems conclusively to have been a calendar workshop for Mayan scribes. The paintings and inscriptions on the walls of the room show the Maya calendar extending well beyond the year 2012, and that future backduns were understood to already be underway in the great cyclic dance of time. According to David Stewart, an expert on Maya hieroglyphs at the University of Texas at Austin, backdun 14 was going to be coming, and backdun 15 and backdun 16. The Maya calendar is going to keep going, and keep going for billions, trillions, octillions of years into the future. The months of the years of the Mayan calendars were governed over each by a specific god, and as these gods were eternal, they assured the continuance of the energy of their particular month. As all of life was considered one eternal cycle, the Western concept of an end of the world, so popular in Christian ideology, would have been a completely foreign concept to a Maya scribe. Maya today. In the modern age, the Maya still farm the same lands and travel the same rivers as their ancestors did from the north in the Yucatan down to Honduras. The claim that the Maya somehow vanished, simply because their cities were found abandoned, is not only inaccurate, but insulting to the over 6 million Maya who carry on the traditions of their ancestors. Though the region was Christianized in the 16th century conquest and Inquisition, the old ways are still observed in a hybrid between European Catholicism and Mayan mysticism.